Hello, hello. Welcome to Rockstars Unplugged. Dun, 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 dun. Today is August 26th. We are 1 month out from my 40th birthday. Not that you care. I'm so excited. I'm going to be going to Texas. And we're having trouble streaming to the destination. Let me see what's up here. Connecting. I feel like this is a whole shooting match every time we do this. Hold on one second. Maybe it's in advanced settings. No, we're trying to go in the group. Hold on one sec. Tiny tweaks and solid strategy made all the difference. We're getting live in Facebook here. And it says connect streaming software to go live. I was thinking I was connected. Let me get out of it and get back into it. So if you're on YouTube, thanks for hanging loose. We are working on getting the live stream set up in the Facebook group. And I'm having a little bit of a technical difficulty. If you know a tech guy, send him my way. So hang tight if you're on YouTube. Hang tight, hang loose. Facebook group. I think I have to go into the event. Live to start the video. Okay, let's try this. Rockstar Organizers! What's up, Samuel? My number one supporter these days. All right. I'm not sure how to figure out how to go live here on the group. It was, I think I know what I can do. I think I can just go to the Rockstar Organizers page and share it to the group. Post, and now I can pin it to the announcements so that the link works, and I think we will be golden. Okay, awesome. So welcome to Rockstars Unplugged. Today we have a very special guest with us, and I got to tell you a little bit about what's been going on. So I'm Holly. I run a group of amazing professional organizers called Rockstar Organizers who have really given themselves to serving their communities, making a difference, and how about making a little bit of money while they're at it too. So at the end of this class, I'm going to talk to you about how to get some free training with me. I'll give you a little sneak peek. It's called the Money Making Organizer Masterclass. It happens Thursday of this week, so 3 days from now on August 29th. And I'll go ahead and tell you how you can register. It's at moneymakingorganizer.com. It's a free masterclass for an hour. And I'm going to be going over the 3 moves to monetize your organizing skills as a mom, as a woman in your local area. You could even use these online in order to truly transform other people's before and afters into these incredible works of art. But not just that, you get to have some fun money to spend on your family. And that's what brings a lot of organizers to me, is they've got big dreams. They want to do some fun stuff. And Brittany is no different. So I've had my eye on her for a couple of years. I've always just been a fan of following her stuff on Instagram. We connected a couple of years ago, reconnected maybe 6 months ago. And I'm excited for you to hear her story, Brittany is a go-getter and she knows what she wants. She came to me with a really clear vision. And what I told her at the time was, you've got a lot of really good things in place. And that is something that I see with a lot of organizers. However, sometimes just for the fact that I've been in this industry for going on 18 years, I've seen things that work and don't work to the point where I can, on a very nuanced level, tell you tweak this and it'll make you go so much faster. And that was the case with Brittany. So I'm excited for her to share her story because not only can I show you what to tweak, but you've got to implement it. And Brittany is someone who implemented. She took the materials, she looked at them. I even remember seeing a photo of her with her scripts. I have some scripts of what to say and consultations and sales and all this. And she was like studying them while she was, doing a pedicure or something like this. It was really cute. I'm like, this is an implementer, and implementers get results. So I love bringing inspiring women like this on the show because you get to be inspired by the action that she took, and you get to see what is possible for you. So without further ado, I want you to help me welcome Brittany Rodriguez with Be Beautifully Organized. Brittany, I'm going to bring you on up. How are you, beautiful?
Good to see you. How are you?
Amazing. So happy to see you. You look so gorgeous.
Me too. So glad to see you.
Yes,
Lovely as
ma'am.
always.
How's your day going so far?
It's good. It's good. Just doing all the things. I had a consult like 45 minutes before this. So I've just been running to all the places doing all the things.
Yes, that's mom life right there, running to all the places, doing all the things. Well, amazing. So today I really want people to get a glimpse of who you are. So tell us a little bit about, like, when did you get started organizing? What got you into this in the first place?
Okay. So I'm Brittany. I'm wife to one, mom to five, and we also homeschool, which adds a whole other level of chaos to our lives. And I've always just organized, like project-based organizing, really like aesthetic organizing, just in my life for family, for friends. And in 2021, my brother-in-law passed away, my husband's brother, and I wanted to help his wife like any way I could. And Lord knows I was not going to cook for her because that doesn't help anybody. my
Lord
husband
knows.
is my husband is the cook in our family. So I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to organize your house. And so, we did our pantry. I even did the decluttering with her through her husband's stuff, like in the closet, going through his things and sorting things out and all of that. And at that same time, I was just kind of trying to find my thing. I was like, I want to have a thing, just like something outside of mom life. And I was like, I wonder if I could like make people's pantries prettier or something. Like, do you think anyone would want me to do that? I didn't know that there was this whole professional organizing business out there. And so I just put a post on our neighborhood Facebook page. It's called The Real Housewives. And I was just like I posted a picture that I had done for a friend of mine a few years before. And I was like, would anybody want me to do this for them? And it was like, the floodgates open. People are like, oh yes. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I just kind of started like doing it for people. And then I realized, oh, apparently this is a thing. So I started listening to podcasts, and that was November 2021. So it'll be 3 years in November. So that's how I got started.
Wow. So then we connected. The first time I remember was in April of 22, and then we didn't connect for another year later. So kind of catch me up, like 6 months ago, what was happening for your family. So we reconnected maybe February of this year, February, March, and you'd been in business for maybe a year and some change at that point. So walk me into what that time was like back in early spring.
So early spring, I was just a little bit burnt out on organizing in general because I just felt like it wasn't going the way I wanted it to. My husband was in full-time seminary, and his business had been struggling really bad. You can call it what is it, inflation, or you can call it the Lord closing doors and opening new ones. That's what we think of it as. But we were just in a really bad place, like financially, and it was just a lot. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But then I came across Holly, and I was like, okay, well, I just really need someone that kind of like link arms with me and come beside me and, kind of help me do this, if this is what we're going to do. And at that point, we had also talked about moving to Costa Rica. We really wanted to do a gap year for our family. So that was kind of in the background. I was like, okay, well, we'll just see how this all plays out. So then once I found Holly, or Holly and I reconnected, then I joined Reboot. Was it Reboot?
Mm-hmm.
I did. And just by like, she broke things down into such manageable bite-sized pieces and like called those things out of me that she was saying. She's like, I see you doing this right. I see you doing this right. I see you doing this right. Let's just do these small little tweaks. And I feel like just like the way you simplified things for me, but also the way you like called me to thinking higher and thinking more is really what helped me transform our business.
I have goosebumps. Wow. So tell me what transformed your business. What happened?
So at that point, and I am totally comfortable talking about numbers. Like at that point, I think the best month I'd ever had was like 6,000 or something like that. But I didn't realize it, but I wasn't really trying. I was like, I don't understand why everyone's not coming to me. It doesn't make sense. Like I'm here.
So
Why is
awesome.
nobody
Just find
coming?
me. Well, just find me.
Why isn't everybody just finding me? And they were like a few people a month, just like coming, but I wasn't doing anything to do that. So I think it was the you had us like start tracking our just like basic activity. Like it was like reach out to this person, do this, do this. Like it was like a list of 4 things to do every day that were it was so simple. But I was like, oh well, I can do that. That's bite size, that's manageable. And that was what was that April? April maybe? I think it was April. And that was my last single digit income month that we've had. And so now we're hitting 20,000 every month, which is
Woo!
wonderful, so wonderful. And my husband, who like he still has his business, but he's no longer going out and like trying to get clients. He's taking care of current clients and he's taking care of referrals. And now he is doing all the tech pieces of my business, which is like the part that I hate. Um,
Yes.
so I
Yes.
can just go make things organized and pretty and meet with new clients, and he does all the tech stuff on the back end, which is wonderful.
Absolutely. Teresa says, that's so awesome. I love that. So that really made a difference for your business and your personal life, right?
It did, yeah.
You were in this tricky spot. You linked arms. You opened yourself to just some outside perspective. And you already had what it took. Sometimes it's like just what you said, somebody calling out what's already there.
hmm
So have you reflected on that a little bit? Like, oh wow, like I already had this in the tank. I just really talk me into like your mindset with yourself. I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this question, but I'm curious. What was your mindset with yourself? Like you made the shift like in mid-April. I remember you coming on the Reboot hot seats and we talked through a few things. You were struggling with some things and you just needed a little bit of guidance. And you took the Chaos to Cash course and you implemented it the best you knew how, which is the package pricing, right?
hmm
So walk me into the story that was going through your head as you were like, oh my gosh, like jump from 6 to 20K. Like what was Brittany telling herself in that time? Do you remember?
I think a lot of what you called out, like as a group, you weren't like, hey Brittany, you're doing this, but like when you called out things as a group, you were talking about the stop start that a lot of people don't. I was like, oh shoot, that's kind of my problem. Like
Ooh,
I think
tell
it's
me
like
about
an
that.
ADHD thing. It's like I get real hot on something and I'm like, oh, let's switch gears over here. Oh, let's switch gears over here. So, and it still comes in the back of my mind. I'm like, ooh, I don't feel like doing this today. I probably should do it. This is stop starting. Let's keep pushing through.
Wow, that's powerful.
hmm
That's powerful. So what I respect about that is you self-identified that was a thing for you. And I
hmm
remember you telling me, I was looking at your DMs today from earlier in the spring, and you were like, are you living in my head? Let me see what it says. Is it okay if I read one of your DMs about that?
Sure.
I don't think it's anything private.
We'll see.
You said, I told you March 28th. Great job on your first live. And you said, thanks. Also, ma'am, I think you're living in my head. The stream you did about the ways we sabotage our progress, perfectionism, start stops, and buying courses I don't watch. Currently like $2,600 in, LOL. Self-doubt, discouragement, and unbelief. It so hit the nail on the head for me, all of them. And I said, yes, I have a secret key to your head. I've been living in there. It's a nice nest. You were like, LOL, it actually feels like a pretty chaotic, wild place. So good luck in there. That was so cute. And I think that's probably how a lot of organizers feel. Like, y'all type nest in the chat if y'all can relate. You're like, it feels like a crazy wild nest and they're a little bit chaotic. And really you just took it and ran with it. So I love that about you. I love organizers who just take something and they go with it. So talk me into, okay, so that was, April. And then let's say in when was your first like 20K month? Did it take like a couple months, 3 months? How long did it take?
May. It was May. Yeah.
Okay.
In the next month.
And you were coming out of reboot at the end of April and you were going into May. And so your very next month you tripled. More than tripled. So what was going through your mind? Like, and what did you discover like about those steps that you took coming out of reboot and into May?
It was those actionable little habits. It's like, what do they say? Consistency compounds. Consistency compounds. So it's just the little bits every day. And the fact that I can't just sit on my behind and wait for people to come to me. I have to go and put myself out there. And I think you model that so well, like even the way you run your business. Like, I mean, you're organizing business, but this, where you train organizers, you're not just sitting and waiting for people to come to you. You interact with people, you're connecting with people, you add value. I talk to my husband about that a lot too. When I'm like, we need to add value to this. Like Holly is really great at adding value, and that's what makes her, coaching business so successful because she brings so much value. She's not gatekeeping. She's like literally offering value to people with these digital downloads and that sort of thing. So, and I think a big shift for me was the moms pages. And that was one of the, I don't remember what exactly all the little, the things that we were doing every day were, but one was like reaching out to a potential client or a former client. But when I started saying, okay, well, I can, part of that is just by making a post on the moms page. So I started doing that every day on different pages. And I think those two combined are really what just like blew things up.
That's amazing. So would you be willing to tell us one of your secrets of how you post on mom pages? Like, what do you say? People are going to be curious to hear, I'm sure. Give us a tip.
So one tip I would say is don't talk about how you can organize a closet. Don't talk about how you can organize a pantry. Like your pictures will speak for themselves, but talk about what you can bring to them that they need, like peace and joy and less fights with their spouse or less like of a chaotic mom life, like that. If those, it's like speaking to the pain points, I feel like has been really helpful, like in connecting with people and showing your face. I always put
Yes.
my face because people want a real person. Like they don't know, you're going to be in people's underwear drawer, like they need to like look at your face and know that they feel like they can trust you.
Absolutely. I'm from your area, so I grew up in Texas, and so sometimes your posts will show up in my feed, like your local posts. And there's this one photo of you that I love where you're standing in the front door and you've got your hand on the door and it's almost like, welcome in, It's so friendly and welcoming. And so that thing you said about showing your face is so true. And a lot of organizers are nervous about that. Maybe they're self-conscious about their teeth, they're self-conscious about their eyebrows or their skin or their double chin or whatever the thing is that gives them a reason to doubt themselves and feel like a little insecure. But I'm sure you have those just like the rest of us do, but you still put yourself out there, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
And I would also say too, like invest in a photographer. And if you don't have the money for a photographer, like find one that needs her closet organized and do a trade. That's what I did with my first branding shoot. I was like, oh, you've got 7 kids. Let me come help you. And you come help me. So, and that was that same photo shoot, the one with the door. That was like a year and a half ago. Yeah. So.
Wow. I love your photos. I love your recent ones that you got too. Every time I see them, I'm like, oh my gosh, so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
It makes a big difference in the branding for your company.
Yeah, I agree. We were really trying to like elevate to luxury service.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So for anybody listening, by the way, next month, so September of 2024 is when this is recording, we have a retreat set up in Austin, Texas. And I have a photographer flying in, a retreat branding photographer flying in. She's been on all our Rockstar retreats for the last few years to take headshots and photos in a beautiful West Elm inspired home in Austin. So if you want to get in on that, we have some spots for photo shoots. We do actually even have one spot left for the retreat itself. The photo shoots are anywhere from, I can't remember the exact price that she put on it, but I think it's maybe a few $100s, and then the retreat's like a few $1,000s that includes the photo shoot plus some training and marketing training with me. So reach out, just type retreat if you're interested. Or photos, whatever you want to type, just, hey, I'll reach out to you about that. But I wanted to put that little nugget in there because it really makes a huge difference in your business. It really shows people like Brittany, like you're serious, that you treat your business like a business and not a hobby, that you just expect people to find you and know about your organizing skills without you having to put in some effort to be seen. Right, Brittany?
Right.
Yeah. So what has all this made possible for you, these 20K months that you've been hitting since May, and now we're in August, so May, June, July, August. That's a huge uptick. So what has that made possible for your business, and what's that made possible for your family?
So really just like peace and less stress. I mean, we have a big family, we have 5 kids, and we were used to making that kind of money with my husband's business, and then it dropped, and then we were like, ugh. We have a mortgage, we have children, we have cars, you know. So really it's just that piece of like knowing that money is flowing in, and I mean it looks different than it used to, but it's way better, I think, this way, because with my husband it was his business, but it was still kind of working for someone else, and this is ours. So that's something that's been really neat, and just being able to freely invest in this business more. Like when I wasn't bringing in a lot, I didn't feel comfortable with, you know, dropping a lot of money into it, but now we've been able to redo the website and redo our supply bags and just different things in our marketing, because we're trying to not spend so much money, but we're trying to invest and reallocate money to bring more.
Wow, that's incredible. So peace in your family.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
huge. That's huge. And you were feeling a little chaotic before and kind of like, ugh. But just the simple fact of making some tweaks to grow your business brought more peace into your family. And what's interesting to me is that's the same thing that you bring into people's homes.
Yes, that is true.
Now you have more of it for yourself. You have even more to give away.
Mm-hmm.
Sales cures a lot of problems. Once you get your sales up, you get that money up, it takes away that sting.
Yeah.
And it's something a lot of organizers deal with. So I'm just really proud of you for doing what it takes. You know, not everybody's willing to do that. And you just really inspire me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So to really encourage other people who are watching this, we've got several people watching here live, and to really show them what's possible. Like, what would you say as far as what difference this has truly, truly made in your life?
As far as just like a successful business, like what difference that's made, I feel like it's the piece, and also just the options. Because that was one hang up kind of with Costa Rica, is that technically my husband's in insurance and he really couldn't write business outside of the country, so he would have to fly back. But when it's your own business, you can do it however you want, you know. Like right now we're really trying to train our team up to where they're able to go out without me, and then I can go wherever I want and do whatever I want and run the business from wherever I want. So it really just gives you freedom. It gives you options. It gives you peace of mind. And, you know, it's not for the faint of heart. Like, you know, it's a lot, but I would rather do this any day than just be sitting around like a victim wondering how I'm going to fix problems, but not doing anything to fix those problems.
Wow.
Which is mine. That was what I was doing. That was what I was doing. I'm not saying everybody else is doing that, but that's what I was doing.
Wow. So what was it that made the difference to help you take ownership?
I mean, I think it was really just talking with you and that switch of realizing like nobody is coming to me. Nobody is gonna just like seek me out. I have to go and find business. Like I have to start putting myself out there to find it. And just owning the fact that I was starting and stopping and deciding I was gonna put my foot down on the gas and not stop.
How did it feel when you were starting and stopping?
it felt like I was doing like the victim thing, like, oh no, it's just not working out. It must be this, it must be that. No, it was me. Like, I'm the problem. It's me, you know? So I think once I really realized that, I was like, I'm I'm always like, I'll call myself out pretty quickly, but if I don't realize it, I don't realize it. And I just didn't really realize it. I think we all grow up with certain patterns that we just find as normal until somebody calls them out. But like once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? So I could either make excuses or I could make a change.
You gonna preach today? She said I could either make excuses or I could make a change. So how do you feel that you've made these changes?
I feel good. I love it. I'm excited. I'm happy. I feel like I'm still trying to remind myself, like, oh, nope, 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 we're not doing that. Oh, nope, nope, we're not going to go back. I mean, it's always a progression, right? We're always trying to be better, trying to do better, trying to get our mental thought life where it needs to be. But I think that's really half the battle is just our thought life. And life in general, but especially in business, because when we're not putting good in, like having Holly coach us, reading the right books, that kind of thing, when we're not putting good in, like not good is not going to come out, right?
Mm, that's powerful, Brittany. I read something this morning on Instagram by this man named Lloyd Day, and it said, we don't get what we want, we get what we expect.
Mm.
It's talking about sales. And this kind of reminds me of what you were talking about with the victim stuff, because sometimes we say we want sales, but we're actually expecting people to say no and not follow through, or people to
Mm-hmm.
be annoyed when we reach out to them and put ourselves out there. So do you resonate with that at all? That at some level you were expecting, you're talking about thought life, you were expecting something to go negatively, so you didn't follow through with it. Was that the start stop pattern, if you're honest with yourself? Or what do you think it was?
I think there's that. I think a lot of it was too like fear of rejection. Like I'm like, oh, surely they like I don't want to like reach out. I don't want to bother them, which is really a fear of rejection, right? So I think that was probably my bigger issue. Like I didn't want um, to even reach out to like vendor partners. I'm like, oh, they probably get messages all the time. They don't want to, they don't need to hear from me. But like that's part of business and sales is rejection. So that's something I'm learning too. Like I'm just gonna have to put my big girl panties on and thicken out my skin a little bit.
Big girl panties and thicken up the skin. Cheryl, I heard that. So what helped you to get over the fear of rejection? What could you encourage other organizers who are listening with?
I think one thing that's really helped me is just reading different books and realizing like everybody at every level gets no's still. Like multi-million dollar business owners don't make every sale. Like, and that's okay. Like, it's okay. There's going to be no's, and that's just part of the process. It doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're terrible. It just means that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I feel like that has been helpful to me. That's like validating for me to know that other people get no's too. I'm like, oh, it's not just me. Then we can. I feel like I'm in good company. We can all do this now.
Everybody's the same.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So on a different note, like something I wanted to ask you about that I'm just personally curious about that I think other people could also be encouraged by, because Brittany, you told me, you said your husband stepped in to help you with your business, and his stuff was not going as well anymore. And that's actually the case for a lot of organizers right now. Is something's happening with their husband's job or their husband's work, that they want to step in and relieve some of that pressure. I hear that like
Mm-hmm.
90% of the organizers who come into my world are like, I want to relieve the pressure from my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a really interesting shift that I saw happen with you, is that he actually now came on board with you instead of you coming on board with him. Like, how does that feel as a woman to have your husband supporting you like that?
Um, it's funny. I was actually worried. I'm like, are you sure this is okay? Are you sure you're gonna be okay? Yeah, because men need to be the providers. But I think my husband, he's always the first to help. He takes care of me. He babies me so much. Oh my gosh, you just see him like putting me to bed at night with my water and like closing the door so I get good sleep. So I think it made
Women love that.
Yes.
I love being baby.
Yes, yeah. So I think I mean, it's been an adjustment. It hasn't been easy. I'm having to learn to be kind with my words, which is, harder. We always give the people closest to us, we give the least thought of how we're speaking. So that's been an adjustment. And him having to take constructive criticism has been an adjustment too. I mean, that part, it hasn't been easy, but we're working towards it and it's getting better every day. We actually have some coaches, some marriage coaches that we're working with. We're just meeting with them once a month just to they've been in the same position too, where the wife was running a, multi six figure business and the husband came on board too. So they're giving us tips and tricks and tools to help us give us the right tools in our toolbox to move forward. So
It's so powerful. That's so powerful. So how can people follow you on Instagram? I know you got a beautiful Instagram account. So what's your handle?
Oh, my Instagram is b.beautifully organized. I try to get on there as much. I'm terrible at Facebook, but I'm pretty solid on Instagram. So follow me there.
Follow her there. She does beautiful stories. I love how you just get in your car and you just talk about whatever's going on that day. And I have no doubt that's why your business is growing and blowing up the way it is, because you're so willing to put your face out there and let yourself be seen, and to let yourself be seen in your real life. Not like this is everything that's going perfectly, but hey, this is my day, this is what we did, and just that documenting of the everyday life is really what people are interested in. Like, people are interested in people. We think they're not going to be what they are. They're like coming in, like looking at stuff. I do this type of thing, And so I just want to tell you, well done. Like, you're
Thank
such
you.
an inspiration to so many of
Thank
us.
you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, y'all give Brittany some love in the chat. She did an amazing job. Brittany, thank you so much for coming on. And I just want to remind you about Thursday. We have a masterclass coming up this week. If you want to learn some of the same skills, some of the same strategies, specifically for social media, I'm going to be talking to you about how to get some support with your social media with some things. I want you to head to moneymakingorganizer.com, and that will get you signed up for the free masterclass this Thursday at, I think it's 2 or 3 o'clock. I think it's 2 o'clock Eastern. Played with the times a little bit, but head there to Money Making Organizer. This is a brand new masterclass I have never taught before. It's some high level stuff that's going to help you make some very marked steps. So there's 3 moves, 3 phases of what I've seen. I've been working with organizers for a long time. I've been an organizer for a long time, and I know the path. Literally, I know the whole entire path you need to take, and I know where you get stuck, and I know what to do next. And then I know where you get stuck, and I know what to do next. And then I see where you cycle back, and then I know what to do next because I have lived this path, and I've helped lots of organizers, including Brittany, to really get unstuck out of their own way. And it's often not even as hard as you think. It's like you heard just now. I mean, Brittany worked with me for 30 days, and then she took off. You probably already have a lot more going for you than you think, but it does require surrender. And Brittany is a perfect example of that. She's like, you know what? I am noticing things that are not working. I'm noticing my start-stop pattern. And I think when organizers can at least admit that, and they don't have to go into all these explanations about why their way is better and why this should work and why. It's like, can you surrender to a proven process, or do you need the ego boost of having to create your own thing? I'm just going to ask it to you straight. Do you need that? I needed that for a long time. And at some point, I just got tired. And I'm like, I surrender. I need some help. But guess what? The help that I needed wasn't actually there at the time. So I created it. So I've spent the better part of the last 5 years developing out step-by-step, detailed, digestible steps for you to take. And it's time for me to get my message out there that this is available to you. And you don't have to figure it out by yourself. You don't have to figure out how to make money as an organizer by yourself. You might still be stuck in a stressful situation with your husband and his job, and you're like, we don't know how we're going to make this work. And you're fighting and you're looking at the bills every month, and you're like, could somebody just show me what to do? And I don't think it's an accident that you landed on this live stream today to hear Brittany's story, because she is an example for all of you. She's an example of someone who said, this is what I want. I'm going to reach out for some support and I'm going to do it. It can literally be that easy. We like to overcomplicate things as organizers. We like to have this perfect plan all planned out with the whole checklist, and then we'll start. But that's not the way it works. Brittany said, she said, it's the tiny, like 4 things a day that I have you do, the consistency of the daily steps that actually don't feel that big when you're doing them. But the problem is a lot of you don't know the right things to do. And so your sales are tanking and your cash flow is crazy. And I 100% understand this problem. And I have mastered the organizing industry with the steps to take and what to do and how to simplify your pricing so that you can get to where you want to go. So I just want you to know I'm here to help you with this. So the first step is moneymakingorganizer.com. I would love for y'all to join us. Teresa says, amazing job, Brittany. Heather says, amazing. Michelle says, awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm going to get on to Charleston. I have a trip about 3.5 hours to Charleston. I'm going for a training tomorrow that I'm super excited about with one of my mentors. It's the Vision Lab. And so it's an all-day training that I'm very excited about. So I'm going to get going and go pack for that. Brittany, thank you so much for joining us. Mwah, mwah. Hope you'll have an amazing day, and I'll see y'all next week. Toodles.